what are the next steps before you arrive in the US?
Okay, so obviously, when you get approved at the embassy, the next step is you're going to book a plane flight for you, and if you're married or you have kids, for members of your family. And then you're going to fly into a particular airport in the US, and you're going to go through, you'll see a big line. People, US citizens go to gate number one, green card holders go to gate number two, temporary visas go to gate number three, so you're going to get in the proper line. You're a potential green card holder, but remember, even though the embassy has granted your case, you're not actually a green card holder until you get admitted into the US, okay? So the agency is a part of the Department of Homeland Security. It's called Customs and Border Protection. And again, my wife used to be one of those agents at the airport, okay? And when you come through the line, most people, they're just, oh, you have a green card. How long have you been out of the US? Where'd you go? Okay, stamp, and you're in 2 minutes, right? But if you're somebody who just got approved at the embassy, it's not quite that easy. So when you go through the line, they're going to say, oh, you just got approved at the embassy, and they're going to send you to a room. And nothing for you to worry about. It's just how the procedure works at the airport. It's called secondary inspection. And then they're going to open up an envelope that the embassy gave you, and they're going to ask for your passport, and they're going to ask you a few questions, and where you're coming to work, where you're going to live, you have a nurse license in this state, so on and so forth. And then, it could be 15 minutes, but it could be 2 or 3 hours, just depending on their backlog there. So, bring a book to read or whatever, because you may be sitting in a chair for a couple hours, and if your relative's picking you up at the airport, you better let them know in advance that you're not going to come out right when your luggage comes out. So they should just pick up your luggage and sit at the airport and wait for you to come out. But after they ask the questions, if everything goes right, they'll stamp your passport. That's the minute you'll become a green card holder.
That's the moment.
Exactly. And if it doesn't happen often, but if something is questionable and they can't make a decision there, they'll give you a temporary entry, and they'll refer you to something called deferred inspection. And I've been to quite a few of those deferred inspection interviews. And that means, like, in a week or two, whatever time they give you, you'll have to go to this local CBP office, and they'll ask you questions about, didn't the employer say you had a job in Los Angeles, and then you told them at the airport you're going to Idaho? I mean, what's that all about? So they will clear that up, and then if you pass the deferred inspection, they'll stamp you at the CBP office rather than at the airport.
Okay. Well, that's interesting information, and I think it's good to kind of set your expectations. That you might be at the airport for a few minutes, or it might be longer, or you might have a deferred action. I have to tell you, I've been doing this for many years. Connetics have been bringing thousands of nurses to the US, and we've never actually seen a nurse case go to this deferred action before. So hopefully, it wouldn't happen to anybody who's watching. But in our experience, it's really more, it's the officer that you get when you come into the airport. Some people kind of go through in very quickly, a few minutes. And for some people, it depends on the officer, they might take longer. They are, again, just important to be prepared and to have that expectation.